second video in the BIMS Blue Gap Collaborative series. My name is Rose Santana, and today we will be talking about the role of nitrogen in the environment, both the good and the bad of it. So, first things first. Nitrogen is a naturally occurring chemical element that plays a crucial role in the environment and in our lives. It is the building block of amino acids, which make up proteins, and because of that, it is a component of DNA, which carries genetic information. Nitrogen is a key nutrient needed for the growth of plants, animals, and other forms of life. And so it is an essential element in the food chain. However, too much nitrogen can have negative effects on life, making it important to understand both the good and the bad things of this element in our environment. So first, let's talk about the good of nitrogen. It is essential for plant growth, it improves soil fertility, and it's essential for the food chain. So let's break those things down, shall we? Nitrogen is an essential nutrient for plant and animal growth, and it can be a limiting factor in plant production. Nitrogen is a key component of chlorophyll, which allows plants to perform photosynthesis and convert sunlight into energy. Kind of like when we're hungry, we eat a sandwich and we get some more energy, right? This energy is then used to produce sugars and other organic compounds, which are the building blocks of plant biomass. Nitrogen is important for soil fertility as it helps to improve the quality of the soil. It's essential for the growth of microorganisms that help to break down organic matter in the soil, which results in the release of nutrients that are available for plant growth. This all makes nitrogen essential in the food chain as a component of proteins and DNA. Proteins are the building blocks of animal and human tissue, and the DNA carries genetic information that determines the characteristics of an organism. So it's kind of important that we make sure that all of those things align. But where we have the good, we also have the bad. See, this is because too much nitrogen is one of the causes of eutrophication. Eutrophication occurs when there is an excess of several nutrients in a body of water. For example, when there is an increase in the concentration of nitrogen and other nutrients in the body of water, this can lead to too much growth of algae and other aquatic plants. Now, normally that sounds great, right? More plants, better ecosystems. This is not necessarily always the case. This is because this can choke out other life and cause shading. And basically this stops plant growth. So when these plants die, they are decomposed by bacteria, and this leads to decreased oxygen levels in the water, which can in turn harm and or kill fish and other aquatic life. Overall, this causes a decrease in water quality that can also affect us and the resources that we use. That's all to say, eutrophication is something that's very important for us to study, and we're going to break it down into 4 simple steps today for you guys. First of all, excess nutrients. This happens when too much fertilizer is applied by farmers in agriculture or by people on their lawns. It can also happen from uncontrolled animal farming or other industrial outputs. This problem occurs when the excess nutrients flow into nearby rivers, lakes, or coasts. It can also be caused by heavy rainfall and storm surge. This in turn leads to algae blooms. This happens when fertilizers rich in nitrate, ammonium, urea, phosphate, and other nutrients spark the overgrowth of algae and water bodies. Now, why are algae problems a problem? This can lead to something called oxygen depletion. When too much algae forms, it can block sunlight from entering water and effectively inhibits its own growth. So think of it as just blocking the top layer of the water and not allowing that sunlight to penetrate. So when plants and other organisms die, the rotting uses up oxygen, and eventually water becomes oxygen depleted. This leads to something called dead zones. Dead zones are areas and bodies of water where aquatic life cannot survive because of the low oxygen levels. Now, these are primarily a problem for bays, lakes, and coastal water since they receive excess nutrients from upstream sources and can lead to hundreds, if not thousands, of fish, plants, and invertebrates and other organisms dying within a relatively short period of time. And as the dead organisms decompose, it chokes out even more oxygen. We've seen these massive fish kills occurring more and more in the past 10 years or so. Some notable examples being the fish kill in Biscayne Bay in Florida in 2020, in the Gulf of Mexico in 2021, and in the Chesapeake Bay in 2022. The largest dead zone in the world actually lies in the Arabian Sea, and it actually occurs naturally, and it covers almost the entire 63,700 square mile Gulf of Oman. The second largest sits in the Gulf of Mexico in the United States, averaging almost 6,000 square miles in size. That's crazy, right? But water is not the only place where nitrogen can rear its ugly head. in too many quantities, it also can cause air pollution. So nitrogen oxides are a major contributor to air pollution. They're a pollutant that reacts with other chemicals, including water, to form smog and acid rain. These pollutants can harm human health, damage crops, forests, and other ecosystems. Yikes. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really dying to go dancing in acid rain these days. Another thing it can impact is climate change. Nitrogen in the form of nitrogen oxides also behaves as a greenhouse gas, and it contributes to climate change. Nitrous oxide, which is produced by the breakdown of nitrogen-based fertilizers, is a powerful greenhouse gas that traps heat in the atmosphere and contributes to global warming. All in all, in conclusion, nitrogen is a vital element for life, and it plays an important role in plant growth, soil fertility, and the food chain. It's important for us. However, too much nitrogen in the environment, as nitrate and other nitrogen oxides, ammonia and urea, can have negative effects on life, including our very own. It's important to understand the good and the bad of this element, and by carefully managing the use of nitrogen-based fertilizers and other nitrogen sources, we can minimize the negative impacts of nitrogen on our environment and maximize its benefits to our fullest potential. All in all, I hope you guys learned something new about nitrogen today in the environment, whether the good or the bad. You can let us know down below. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media handles, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you with those. And I want to thank our partners and our collaborators for making it possible for us to continue spreading environmental awareness throughout all of our communities. Until next time.